write the gist of how this is starting. You may still be writing your gist. Go ahead and share your gist with your neighbor. I'm going to call Natalia. Three, two, one. To read.
I said Bandara wants Kara's cup.
Okay, it's a good gist. That's kind of what she's doing. Somebody has something similar but slightly phrased differently. Suleiman. Thanks, Jalen. Great track in front.
An argument is about to be started about.
Okay. An argument is about to start about the space. Jared, last one.
I would say that Pandora is being a bullier, or she's being more rich.
Great. Let's pick that up. Fancy words. Look at you. Your space is gone. It's mine now. Those saplings are mine. Shemaiah.
I will cut my own. But I will rebuild on this space. This was my father's space before I was born, and my mother's after he died. Now that she is dead, it's mine.
Antoine.
Overwhelmed and really from surrounding cops. We needed one call.
Ooh, can you read that again? And be attentive to the way he read what was in quotation marks. That was well done.
We needed one call. We're going to use the samples to build a pit for the types. It was Vandora's idea.
Hero looked at the woman who was holding the arm of a toddler roughly. Can you please circle the adverb in that sentence? Discuss with your neighbor really quickly what that adverb tells you about that woman. Go ahead. Three, two, and one. First off, what is the adverb in that sentence? The adverb would be, Imani?
Roughly.
Roughly. What does that tell you about the woman, Tahani?
That she's like abusive.
So what if Lois Lowry took out the word roughly and replaced it with tenderly? Right? Antoine, can you read it and take out roughly and write tenderly?
Hero looked at the woman who was holding the arm of the toddler tenderly.
How would that change what you think about the woman? Please chat with your neighbor. 3, 2, 1. What would you think of the woman if you had the word tenderly, Chris?
If you had the word tenderly means like softly gentle, so the lady would probably be like nice. So
Yeah, you would think she was nice. I want you to be attentive to all the adverbs that we come across today. Let's reread that again. Steve, would you read that sentence for us again? Kira looked at the woman.
Kara looked at the woman who was holding the arm of the toddler.
Could be the toddler who was holding.
Who was holding the arm of a
You're right.
toddler, roughly.
Great, now make it flow.
Kara looked at the woman who was holding the arm of the toddler, roughly.
It might be a good idea, Kira replied, if you want to pin your little ones, but not on this piece of ground. You can build your pen somewhere else, Destiny.
she saw Bandara lean down to pick up a rock the size of a tight fist. The size of a tight fist.
Good fix, I appreciate it.
We don't want you here, Kara said. You don't belong in the village anymore. You're worthless with that way. Your mother always protected you, but she's gone now. You should go too. Why can't you just stay in the field?
Write the gist on the side. Well read. Write the gist. What's going on there? If your paper looks anything like Jalen's, where he's got the gist written in the margin, then you're well on track. A few folks waiting for you to get on the gist train. Share with your neighbor as you're jotting the gist. What's happening Three, two, one. Sanai, and then Cyril. What's happening? What's the gist of this so far?
So far, the women are telling her that they want her space and it's going to die.
Okay. Cyril, anything to add? You kind of took it a step further.
I would agree with what I said, but I would like to add on. Like, I think that they were trying to intimidate, her because she picked up a rock. She's probably trying to like send her that message that like we're gonna take this even if you want it. Like she's just trying to intimidate her with the rock.
2 points for that. I like the use of intimidation and connecting it to the rock. She's trying to intimidate her. She's trying to scare her. Tahani, can you pick up? Kira saw.
Kimber saw that she was surrounded by hostile women who had come from their cots and were watching the yard for instructions and leadership.
Several, she noticed, had rocks in their hands. If one rock were thrown, others would follow. She knew. Sadir,
They were all waiting for the first.
good fix.
What would my mother have done? She thought frantically and tried to call wisdom from the bit of her mother's spirit that lived on in her life.
Or my father, who never knew of my birth. His spirit is in me too, right, the gist? And any other things you may have noticed about those few paragraphs. Thanks, Marty. See it in your eyes if you picked up on it. Write the gist, and then anything else you might have noticed about those paragraphs. Please begin sharing when you're ready. Go ahead.
I think the word is
Three, two, one. What's the gist of what's happening there in this particular scene? Sadir?
The gist I know is that
Thanks, Z. Thanks, Imani.
Kira is not asking for help from her father and mother.
Can her mother and father help her?
No,
Why not?
because they're
They're dead, right? Anybody want to add anything else that they noticed about that in particular? Imani?
I know she had a memory moment.
Just having memory moments. What else could you categorize this as? Sharon? What I heard you say. Yeah, some TQ, some tough questions that she can't really answer. What is she going to do? With your neighbor, I'd like you to reread those last two paragraphs, 10 and 11. Find the adverb in there because it tells you a lot about what someone's thinking or feeling. Find it and talk about it. 3, 2, 1. What adverb did you notice was used there? Chris? 2 points frantically. What does that tell you about Kira if she's thinking this and she's thinking it frantically, Mirage? But what does that tell you? How would she be feeling if she's doing it frantically? She's nervous. Yeah, jot that on the side. Because if she was thinking it calmly, that changes things, right? Let's continue, shall we? Cyril.
Kira straightened her shoulders and spoke. She held her voice steady and tried to keep her eyes on each woman.
Could be keep and tried to.
And tried to meet the eyes of each woman in turn.
Some lowered their gaze and looked at the ground. That was good. It meant they were weak. Can you circle the word straighten? That word is so important, I think, as well, right? Because what if we change straighten to Kira stooped her shoulders and spoke? Discuss how that would be different. What would be different about that? There you go. 3, 2, 1. What if it wasn't straightened her shoulder? What if it was she stooped her shoulder? Nevaeh, you and Antoine were right on the money.
That means that she's backing down.
Right. But she didn't. She straightened her shoulders. Can you write next to that what that makes you think about her? That's a part of the gist too. It's also an inference that you make. Altamir, would you pick up? Let's reread that. Kira straightened her shoulders.
Kira straightened her shoulders and spoke. She held her voice steady and tried to meet the eyes of this woman in Germany.
Some lowered their gaze and looked at the ground. That was good. It meant they were weak, Sinai.
You know that in a village conflict rapidly reject, you must go to the council of guardians, Kara reminded them. She heard some murmurs of assent.
Could be assent. Everyone say assent? Assent. Yeah. You pronounce it in a way that it sounds like it could be, but it is assent. Can you read that little phrase again? Murmurs of?
She heard some murmurs of assent.
Great.
Then Dara's hand still gripped the rock and her shoulders were tense, preparing to thrust.
Shemaiah.
Kara looked directly at Bandara, but she was speaking to the others now, in need of their support. She appealed not to their sympathy because she knew that they had none but to their fear.
Good fix. Remember that if conflict is not taken to the Council of Guardians and there is a death, write the gist. What is she doing right there? Go ahead. Write it. What is she really doing right there? You may continue writing, and as soon as you're ready to share, go ahead and do that.
She's trying to make you
Three, 2, 1. Let's continue and carry on. Your gist at this point should be a strong gist. We're not always going to share them out. Kira waited. Actually, I went too far. She heard a murmur. If there is a death, she heard a woman repeat in an uncertain, apprehensive voice. Naraja?
Dara waited. She stood at